Hi everyone, so this is going to be another weight loss update. A lot of you have been asking about that, for me to do another update because it's been several months since I did my last one. I did my last one, I think it was in June or something. And so as you saw from the beginning, I wanted to post the sort of before and after pictures, and that was kind of like a personal thing for me because I just really didn't feel comfortable before posting those pictures, and it's still very hard for me to look back on those photos now because when I look back on them I almost don't recognize myself. Like, I know it's me obviously because that's what I looked like. So those pictures I actually asked my friends and family to send to me because any photos that I had of myself, I would just automatically delete them. Like being on photos, like I kept a few from like holiday memories and stuff together with my boyfriend, but any pictures of me that were kind of floating around that I just deleted them instantly because I just didn't want to look at them. I guess I didn't want to face reality. It was pretty much when I was at my biggest size. So, and a lot of you had been asking me what size I was before, so I hope that answered a lot of your questions. I was a size 16, which is a size 46 in European sizes, and for me that definitely was not a good weight to be at. I just felt like I was drowning in all this excess weight, and I knew I was still underneath all that excess, but it just was totally weighing me down, not only physically but mentally as well. And now I have reached my goal. So my goal was to be a size 8, and I have pretty much reached that. So when I was in New York, I realized I had to buy a lot of things in a size 8. So that was my initial goal. When I started the weight loss, that was my goal, to be a size 8, and I reached that goal, and I am so happy. Obviously, I think you can tell a lot from the pictures. I wasn't like completely depressed and everything before. Obviously the weight thing was something that was really weighing on my overall happiness. I still had things in my life that I liked, and it wasn't like I was crying myself to sleep every night thinking, oh my god, I'm so fat or whatever. But it was just kind of like the last thing, and I think just within the whole last year in general, I made a lot of changes in my life, not only to do with weight, but things to do with my career and my friends, and a lot of these kind of like personal decisions that I don't really want to go into too much detail on here. All those changes that I've made have made me overall, I think, a much more balanced person, and the weight thing was like, for me, the last thing that was kind of weighing me down, literally. It was kind of like the last thing on my list of on my checklist to becoming an overall happier, healthier person. It's been a challenge. I think it has been a challenge. Obviously these kinds of a weight loss, that takes a certain amount of time, you're always going to have periods of struggle, but overall it has totally been worth every blood, sweat, and tears that I've gone through. And now I feel like that whole struggle wasn't actually that bad, kind of looking back on it now. I think, okay, like, yes, all those hours that I spent exercising in front of my TV, because I use workout DVDs, and every hour that I spent on my elliptical home trainer, and I think back of all that and I think, it wasn't actually that bad. So I think overall, anyone who goes through a dramatic weight loss, for some people that might be 30 pounds like how it was for me, or it might be 50 pounds, it might be 60 pounds, it might be over 100 pounds. It doesn't matter. I don't think you should feel like, oh, I only have to lose this, so my struggle is not as hard as someone else's. Like, everybody has different goals, or everyone has different struggles that they go through, be it mentally or physically. So, whatever, if you're on your own weight loss journey, you should be proud of whatever amount that you lose, especially if you are very overweight. Like I kind of go by the body mass index, and I was definitely in the obese range. So, and now I'm back in a normal body mass index range, which I'm very happy about. My goal was never to be real thin. That was, I said that in the beginning, I never wanted to be like, model-esque, where you can see every bone sticking out. That's not what I want my body to look like. I always just wanted to be in the normal range, but with a little bit of definition and a little bit of, a bit more strength. So I have definitely noticed that my arms is getting there. So this is something that I would never have done in a video. I would never even have worn a top like this in my previous videos, and you can check back on all the old videos that I have before. I always wore like either long sleeve or a shirt that, you know, covered, because I would never want you to see my arms, and now I actually have, you know, quite a bit of definition, and that took a lot of work. You know, I do a lot of, you know, push-ups and weight training and stuff like that. So a lot of people who have been following me on this whole journey will probably know what I have been doing, you know, because I've done some more videos on that. And I also have on my other channel, The Third Shift, I have videos where I talk about nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, obviously, but I talk about food in general and like what kinds of things I buy, and I have a lot of actually cooking tutorials on there as well. So I obviously completely changed my whole nutrition since January. I just cut out a lot of carbs. So that doesn't mean all carbs. It's not like I'm not eating any carbs, but I cut out things like white bread, pasta, you know, French fries, and pretty much all junk foods. Well, that goes without saying, obviously, junk food, you know, like McDonald's and tacos and all those things. You know, I didn't eat too much of that before, but that's completely all gone. I greatly reduced sweets, so anything like desserts and cakes and pastries and stuff, obviously, I reduced that a lot. I still do have sometimes the odd slice of cake, and I still have cookies sometimes, and, you know, the odd bit of chocolate here and there. So it's not like I haven't had any of that since January at all. And sometimes, you know, I really get in the mood to do some baking, and I bake an apple pie or something. But it's not, you know, it's not as much as before. You know, before I used to bake at least once or twice a week because I just enjoy it. But now I realize that, well, okay, yes, like that's something that I really enjoy doing, but it's not good for me to be eating that much sugar and butter and, you know, white flour and stuff. And of course I cut out a lot of the refined carbs, like, you know, well, sugar obviously, and you know, things like pasta, as I said, and a lot of potatoes, because I used to eat a lot of potatoes and a lot of bread, a lot of white bread. So white bread is completely out. I still do consume carbs because pretty much all food does contain some carbohydrates, but just reduced. So because most people, you know, we live sedentary lives, we're not athletes, we don't need that much energy that carbs provide us. And you know, if you're an athlete, obviously you're going to need a totally different food plan than the average person who spends a lot of time at the office sitting down in front of the computer or sitting at a desk at school or whatever it may be. And of course, exercising is the key thing. So I work out regularly. I work out some weeks, I work out maybe like 3 times a week, and sometimes I work out 5 times a week. So it kind of fluctuates between the two. Recently, I have been working out a lot again because I've been wanting to catch up on a lot of TV shows that I downloaded, and I just pop those on the TV and I go on my elliptical trainer meanwhile, so it kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. The other thing that I really love is workout DVDs. So I've been using a few different ones, and pretty much all the workout DVDs that I am using are from beachbody.com, and I just got into them because I think they're very effective. A few different ones. I use Insanity. I absolutely love Insanity. It is so extremely tough. It's tough as nails, but Insanity is really good. Turbo Fire, I kind of just started it. It's tough too, but I'm not sure if I like it as much as Insanity personally. P90X, which is a bit more to do with like weight training and strength and resistance and stuff like that. So I kind of combine. I just like mixing it up. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I have to work out my arms, so I'll put on like a P90X for arms and shoulders workout, or you know, and then the next day I'm like, oh, I really need to get my cardio in, so I'll do Insanity. All those or except for maybe P90X, but definitely Turbo Fire and Insanity, they work on the HIIT program. So HIIT is high intensity interval training, which is basically you do incredibly intense workout for a period of time, and then you have a short rest period. So it kind of flips it around. Like the traditional thing is you do a long period of moderate exercise, and then it spikes up to doing a short period of high exercise, and then you're back down. And that's kind of like the traditional workout method. So the HIIT, the high intensity interval training, flips it around. So you're doing incredibly intense workouts where you're at the end completely out of breath, like you're just panting and you can hardly get your breath. And then you have like 30 seconds rest period where your heart rate drops down And for me personally, I find that that is an incredibly effective workout, because the workouts are, for one, they're not so long. So usually they're like 40 minutes, which is the time goes by so fast. Like, it just, you know, you're doing it and it's really, really tough and you're so out of breath, but then like the time flies, seriously. You know, I used to be one of those people, if you're listening to me right now and you're thinking, oh well, she's one of those exercise people, you know, she's one of those people that loves going to the gym. And I can tell you, I was exactly like you. You know, I was sitting on the couch for so long and I didn't do any exercise at all, and I was like, exercise for me was my worst nightmare. I was like, I hated it so much. And you know, I was not motivated at all, because every time I did it, I was like so out of breath, and I could only last for a very short amount of time. But I can guarantee you, if you keep it up, you will actually start to get, you'll improve your longevity, of course, a long time. So you'll find that, wow, in like 2 weeks you can do double as much as you did before. And I will guarantee you that if you keep this up over months and months, it becomes a lifestyle change. You know, now I can't even imagine going back to that, being like someone who just doesn't do any exercise, because it makes me feel so good. I mean, yes, it's tough, and on some days I'm like, wow, I really don't want to do this now. So I do still have to give myself that push. But I can't imagine being a slug as I was before and just not doing anything, because the whole thing has made me such a more balanced person. And you know, now I think, oh well, you know, I can have a piece of cake because I know I'm going to be working out on the tread or on my elliptical, or I know I'm going to be doing a DVD after, so who cares? I know I'm going to burn it off. And I think that's where the factor of like weight maintenance comes in, because at some point, you know, you think, wow, like, okay, now I'm like happy with where I'm at, and now it's more about maintenance. So now it's like you don't want to go back to your old ways. And for me, I can't even imagine going back to my old ways. Like, I can't imagine like just eating all that crap that I was eating before and not doing anything. There have been some unforeseen costs that have, well, I guess it's obvious, but you will, as you start shrinking, you will have to buy new clothes. And for me, it's been a huge cost, because you know, all the clothes that I owned were size 16, and I'm a size 8 now. That's half as big as it was before, pretty much. Or I think that's how it works, I guess. So you know, all my pants, even the sweaters and stuff would look extremely bulky on me. My coats and things, like, I mean, some of the coats I can still wear because they have kind of like a belt and I can tighten it and it still looks kind of okay. But eventually I do want to replace that all, because, you know, I mean, I worked so hard to get to this point. I want to be able to wear these nice clothes. So I've had to spend a lot of money on clothes. And something that happened very recently that has made me so incredibly upset is we have a communal laundry room where we live, and I hung up my laundry, and I realized as I was going through my laundry putting it away that someone stole a lot of these new clothes that I bought. And I was so upset, because these are all clothes that I have bought recently that I've showed you guys in hauls. So I'm missing like several pairs of pants, some jeans, a bunch of tops, and these are all things that I bought brand new, and those are things that fit me now. So that means it was a complete waste of money. They're stolen, so I have to go shopping again. So these are kind of costs that you can expect in the future, because you will have to buy new clothes. Obviously that's the fun part too, and you know, you feel like once you can buy all those clothes, you know that everything you did was worth it. Not only the way you look, it's also how you feel about yourself. And you know, I don't know, I can't explain that feeling to you. And that's why when I was looking back on those pictures, I almost like don't recognize myself, because I'm thinking like, how did I ever let it get that far? You know, how did I let it get that out of control that I had no idea what I actually looked like, you know? One of the really common misconceptions I think about weight loss in general, or at least that I found true for myself, is that I never counted calories. I never counted calories, I never counted carbs. I didn't, you know, write that all down and then I made a list of like, here's what I ate and here's how much exercise, like how many calories I burned. I never did that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to count calories and stuff. I mean, yes, for some people that might work, but personally I find that a really boring way how to do it, because you start to become so focused on calories and you start to question everything you put into your mouth, and that can sometimes even lead to like eating disorders and stuff, because you start to feel guilty if you eat these things that, oh my god, this has like X amount of calories, like now I have to go burn it off and stuff. So you start to get into this very like plus and minus mindset, and I think personally that's not a good way to think about food in general. Food is something that is fueling your body to do your activities that you do throughout the day, be it sports, be it whatever, okay? But of course it can be an enjoyment as well, and that's what I prefer to think of food as. One tip that I can really give you is just cut out empty calories. And so empty calories, what I mean by that is calories that really have no nutritional value for you. And this is obvious. I mean, these are things like junk food and French fries and cake and desserts and white flour, and you know, these things have really no nutritional value for your body. If you start replacing, like if you start cutting back on the empty carbs or empty calories, you start cutting back on that, and you start increasing your intake of nutritional food. So whatever that may be, it could be vegetables and fruits and whole grains and lean proteins. If you just make that change, so decrease the crap, you know, the empty calories, decrease that, and increase your intake of nutritious food, then I can tell you, you don't have to watch your calories, because those calories that you take in, okay, from the good food, like from the healthy food, your body probably is going to find a use for them. And you know, even if you just go about your day as normally, your body is going to use those calories, because there's actually things in there that your body can use, versus the empty calories that really your body can't use them, okay? So those are the ones that really just immediately get stored as fat. Unless you do a lot of exercise or something, because your body's like, okay, well, thanks for giving me those calories, I really can't use them, so I'll just, you know, stick them over here as fat. So that's kind of, you know, just a really easy way how to think about it. Just start replacing sort of the, you know, the not so good stuff. You start replacing it with healthy things. So you leave out the soda and you replace it with water or sparkling water or whatever. You know, leave out, you know, having a dessert every day. Maybe just have a dessert once a week or something, and have fruit after your meal. You're going to make a bigger lifestyle change, and I don't want to encourage people to start getting like eating disorders and thinking like, oh my gosh, I ate a piece of cake, now I have to, you know, like I have to write it down and like all this. I mean, for some people, writing it down, like having a journal can help, and I kind of did that as well, but I didn't write down the calories. So I would just write down, like I did that for like, sometimes I did that for like 2 weeks, and I'd write down what I did exercise wise and then what I ate that day. So that's kind of a way how you can just see you know, where you can make improvements. So if you're someone who like has a dessert every single day, then you can see that by writing it down. You're like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't eat dessert every day. You know, maybe I should eat a dessert like every Sunday or something. And that's something that I did. Is like trying to force anything on you. I'm just trying to share how I did things, and I don't want to promote people getting into these like fad diets where, you know, they have to do everything by the book, and they have to buy all these additional like food supplements that are often really expensive, and you don't have to do that. You can buy everything that you need right at your own grocery store, you know. So I talk a lot about that on my other channel. I totally encourage, of course, anyone who has given up on themselves to not do that, because I can guarantee you, if you give up on yourself and you don't believe in yourself, like how can you ever expect anyone else to care about you? Like, not, you know what I mean? Like, if you give up on yourself, why wouldn't other people give up on you? You have to be your own biggest champion, you know? Like, no one can give you a kick in the ass and then you're gonna do it, you know what I mean? Like, you have to give your own self a good kick in the ass, get to it, like start working out, start eating right. If you need help, go see your doctor, go see a nutritionist or something to get you on the right track. Because I know some people maybe grew up in a home where their own family struggled with obesity as well, so they maybe even never really learned what is healthy food and like how to prepare meals and stuff. I just totally encourage you guys to do whatever you can to get healthy and to lose weight if you are in the obese side or in the obesity, or even some people are in the morbid obesity range. You know, I'm just going by the body mass index. So if you're in morbid obesity, obviously those you have huge health risks associated with that. And I think I would have easily slipped into that category if I hadn't made a change when I did. You know, I would have kept gaining weight, and at one point I would have, you know, diabetes and heart problems. Like that would have been like the next step, you know, if I kept going. And I can't describe to you the feeling like when you look back on yourself, or when you look back even on old pictures and just realize the change you've made. All the trouble that you went to is going to seem so insignificant to your result. So, you know, now I look back on it, I'm like, as I said, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad, you know. It probably was at the time, but it's like I don't even care about that anymore because I feel a lot better about myself. I obviously look better than I did before. I can go clothes shopping and I can buy whatever clothes I want. You know, I don't have to buy clothes that, you know, hide certain problem areas. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with it. Obviously this isn't like the end for me. I mean, I'm not trying to shrink down much more. I just want to keep on going with my exercise. I want to maybe get a little bit more muscle, get a bit more strength and stuff like that. So I'm actually planning to buy a chin-up bar. That's going to be my next step, because I know that's like a really tough exercise, but that does a lot for your shoulder and arms and stuff. I hope that these videos that I've done have been encouraging to others, and that was the whole point. It's not to make myself look amazing and to be like, wow, look at me, I'm so awesome, because, you know, what's the point of that? It's just, I want to encourage you guys that maybe who are the same size as me or who are bigger, that you can make a change, you can do it. I was one of you. You know, if you're watching this video and you're thinking, well, you know, I can't do that myself, I tell you, you can. And it just is in your head. That's it. That's the key thing that you have to like switch on, is your mind. Like, if you set yourself to something, like, at least it's for me like that, if I'm like, wow, I really want this and I'm gonna do it, then it's an issue of your mind. And that's, you know, if your mind is behind it, then it's gonna be easier, because on those days when you're feeling crappy or you're feeling tired and you don't want to work out and you just want to go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal or whatever, then that's when your mind kicks in and you're like, okay, no, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want to fall back into that, you know, period of my life. And I don't know, for everyone that's going to be different. For everyone that's going to be, you're going to have a different trigger for it. So I can't tell you what it's going to be for you, but I can tell you that once you set your mind to it and you're like very strict with yourself, that you can do it. And you know, it's completely worth everything that you put into it. It's going to be worth it in the end. That is it for my weight loss update. I'm just, hopefully you guys are inspired by it and are, maybe inspired to do something for yourselves. And thanks so much for following me on this journey. It's been a really, crazy ride, and it's been totally worth it, obviously. And thank you so much to everyone who's left amazing comments, and you guys always lift me up, and I get so many nice comments from you guys saying like, oh, you look so thin. And I mean, I know that you're just trying to help me, and it really does, like, it totally pushes me up, because I never used to get comments like that before. I used to get comments like, wow, you're hideous and you're fat. Just to have that support from you guys was amazing, and I thank you so much for it. Like, it really, really helped. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. I wish you a lot of health and happiness, and good luck with your own weight loss journey if you're on one, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, everyone.